New York, I'm Brent Musburger with Irv Cross. Irv, I figure the way things are going, we can join 60 Minutes about 8:30 after this. It's a long first half, folks. There's a lot of excitement around the league. Let's get you up to date. I think this was the wildest game of the afternoon. Under glass in Indianapolis, 34-33. The Cardinals just did pull it out. They needed two big plays. This was one of them. Neil Lomax was 15 of 39, 269 yards, 2 touchdowns. His favorite receiver, Roy Green.
Roy Green had problems in this game. He dropped 2 earlier balls that could have been touchdowns, but he makes it up on this one, going all the way from the score.
Now, this pulled the Cardinals to within 2. They get it back. You got to be happy for Neil O'Donohue.
You really have to, because you know the miserable day he had on Monday Night Television against the Giants? Well, here he goes right now with the game on the line, a 46-yarder, nothing to it.
And the Cardinals go to 2-1 under Jim Hannafin, and Indianapolis sags to 1-2 under Frank Kush. The Jets had a huge day against Cincinnati, 43-23. The Bengals are 0-3 under Sam Wyche. And for Joe Walton and the Jets, well, Freeman McNeil, what a game. 26 carries, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He was a load all day long for that Bengal defense. Kenny Anderson had this big play here to M.L. Harris, 80 yards, but it was a long, tough afternoon for Anderson. 4 interceptions. He was finally taken out by Wyche, and Turk Schonert finished up for the Bengals. But Freeman McNeil, this is simply a marvelous run coming up here.
Brent, the great running backs run hard from tackle to tackle. Watch him hit this hole. Wham! Accelerate, breaks a tackle, and Mr. McNeil is off to the races. 150 yards on 26 carries today.
And the Jets now are 2-1 on the season, and New England had the comeback story of the day. They trailed Seattle 23-0. Steve Grogan had got him out of the game. They put the youngster Tony Eason in, and he sparked a 38-point rally for the Patriots in that game. Minnesota wins for the first time this year under Coach Les Steckel. He does run a camp, though, doesn't he? A military camp. 27-20 was the final. The Vikes and Tommy Kramer had his first touchdown pass of the season. The Raiders in Kansas City, this was the most dramatic game of the afternoon. Just inside of 5 minutes, the Chiefs went ahead. They were moving the ball very well on the league's toughest defense. Herman Hurd got the corner turn and got in. Now the Chiefs kick off, and then here come the Raiders, Irv.
You know what they're going to do. They're going deep. Plunkett goes to Malcolm Barnwell, who steps out of bounds at the 5-yard line after a 42-yard reception, setting up the game winner.
Tried to score the touchdown. 3 times failed. Chris Barr then hit the winner from 18 yards out, and the Raiders stay unbeaten with that 2-point victory over the tough Chiefs, who are 2-1. Chicago and Green Bay up at Lambeau Field. 3 field goals win it for the Bears, 9-7. But it may turn out to be a very costly win for Chicago. Jim McMahon missed the entire second half because of a bad back and that injured hand. But Walter Payton's confident he'll get back for Seattle.
Jim is a competitor. He had the fracture in his wrist and he came out. But the major problem was his back, and he re-injured that. So, we have to wait and see what's going to happen next week. But I'm sure, knowing him, he's going to try to get out there.
Peyton and the other Bears picked up the slack. He rushed for 110 yards, and now he's within 337 of Jim Brown.
I like big challenges, and I like something to motivate me. This is my 10th year into the league, and this is the motivator for me. And it can only enhance the output of this team by my performance, because I'm going to work as hard as I can to get whatever I can.
Bears stay unbeaten. You'll see him take his next step in pursuit of Jimmy Brown's record next Sunday on CBS when the Bears tangle out in Seattle against Franco Harris and the Seahawks. Harris did not have a good afternoon for Seattle. He rushed for only 25 yards in that game. Detroit and Tampa Bay are now in the third quarter down in Tampa. 14-7, the Lions with a 7-point lead there. In the third quarter in San Francisco, the 49ers and the Saints are tied at 17. The story here is the fact that Richard Todd has been taken out of the game, and the Snake. Kenny Stabler is bringing the Saints all the way back. There he is just moments ago, tossing the touchdown pass that earned them a 17-17 tie in the third quarter. Houston and San Diego, they've gone to the third quarter, 28-7. You guys say, Dan Fouts is going wild. A lot of touchdown passes. Wrong. Ernest Jackson has rushed for 3 touchdowns for the Chargers. In fact, Fouts hasn't thrown a single touchdown pass in that game, but he still is having a huge afternoon. Pittsburgh and the Rams are in the third quarter. Vince Ferragamo suffered a broken finger on his throwing hand. Jeff Kemp is in there. The Steelers lead the Rams 14-7. Giants and the Redskins have gone to the third quarter. Redskins lead it 13-7. It has become a tough defensive war, as you might expect there, with the Giants, who have one of the best defenses in the league. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys right now, of course, they are at the half, 13-10. Cowboys, what are the Eagles going to try to do in the second half?
I think the Eagles are going to get after the Red Dogs. But I think the thing that we want to keep in mind, though, is that Petey Perot's done a good job on Randy White all day.
The NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages.